What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10, 5, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the live stream for the Lions versus the Steelers. It has been definitely a long time since I've done this, but hopefully now that with the preseason nearly being done and over with, we will be able to do this on a much more consistent basis. Just waiting for the game to actually start here, but it's been one of those kinds of days. Hopefully everybody's doing very well. Got a couple people already in. Hopefully everybody's had a good day so far. So far, I've definitely been paying attention to some of the news that's been going on around the NFL. It sounds like pardon me, I think my camera is wanting to be silly. I don't know why it's doing that. Hold on. I don't think that helped. I'm doing okay, everybody. Just trying to figure out how to get this dang camera to there it goes. I hate when it does that because I hate the fact that when I'm trying to get this screen to work, it'll sometimes look nice and clear, and then other times it looks like there's peach fuzz on the screen and you can't see anything that's going on. But right now they're talking about the game to kickoff and everything. Everyone's talking about Russell Wilson and the whole thing with that game. I'm going to tell you this right now. This game is going to be interesting because of a couple of reasons. One, it's going to be interesting because I want to see how our defense does against the Steelers' first-team offense. Because if our defense struggles against that first-team offense of the Steelers, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Because for me, it's like, wait a minute here. You would expect that, hey, our defense would do better against that. But everybody's saying that the starters are dressed. Whether or not they're going to play is a different story. I don't know if they're going to play yet. From what I understood, we were not having our starters play. That's at least what I understood. Now, if that's changed, hell, that's awesome. I would love to see the starters. I would love to see, a drive or two of our offense and a drive or two of our starting defense out there to kind of see how they are. But, I don't know if we're actually going to see that or not. Bo Booth says it's a photo op only. It might very well be. Because this is technically the first time that the Lions have busted out their brand new home uniform. So it might be that's why they're doing that, but we'll see what happens. I don't know, to be entirely honest. It could be a photo op. It could be they're playing. Who knows? But realistically, for me, I'm wanting to figure out how our players do in this game, especially guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones, guys like, Matthew Betts, guys like Hendon Hooker. It's like, listen, I want to see how these guys play in this kind of a game because that's going to be a real big indicator of what we can realistically expect from from those kind of players. Jarrett, no, they have not cut. As far as I know, the Lions have not cut anybody except if it's like injury settlements or things like that. They have not cut anybody yet. The cut down time is, if I recall correctly, 4 p.m. on Tuesday. So there's going to be a lot of decisions that are, one, going to be made over the next couple of days, but I'm also pretty confident that there's going to be a couple of decisions that are going to come out of this game because, as Dan Campbell said, I think there's 5 or 6 spots that are still up for grabs. Now, where those 5 or 6 spots are at, nobody knows. Could be wide receiver, could be edge rusher, lineman, wherever. We have no idea. But I know some people are asking me to predict a score. Honestly, if I had to take a guess, I'd probably say 24-17 Lions, because I'm honest, I don't really expect that the Steelers are going to give us much of a problem, because every other time the Steelers have played so far this preseason, they have looked absolutely horrendous. So for me, it's like, if we lose to the Steelers, that is a problem. And not just because, hey, we lost, but it's like, dude, the Steelers right now are extremely dysfunctional. They can't get anything together. Their offense can't get anything going with Russell Wilson, and it sure as hell ain't getting anything going with freaking, Justin Fields. DC says it's going to be interesting to see how we do against Fields with our improved D-busting gives us on the ground. Well, that will be interesting, DC, but that's going to be against our backups, and probably our backups, because Fields is the second stringer, which means he's probably not going to come in until probably halftime, which means that our third stringers, if the backups are actually starting like what we were expecting, are going to be the ones that are in. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Our freaking starters had a hard time handling freaking Fields. So I don't even want to think about what our backups are going to do when it comes to him. Again, Jarrett, here's what I'm going to say. When it comes to coaches, nobody wants anybody getting hurt, whether it's preseason or not. You don't want injuries happening. But preseason, you especially don't want it happening, because it's like, listen, these games are meaningless as far as record. They're not meaningless as far as development. They're not meaningless as far as progression. Those are important. But you don't want a starter. You don't want a guy that you're going to expect to play the whole season to potentially get injured. And then, oh shit, now we've got to figure something else out here because we just lost a starter due to injury. So that's what I'm saying. I have no problem listening to commentators, but I actually want to watch the dang game. And I'm sorry, that's all I'm listening to is damn commentators. And suffice it to say, I don't want to listen to just commentators. I want to freaking watch the game. All right, now we're actually in the freaking game stream now, rather than listening to Ron Rivera and some dumb whoever freaking talking about something that I don't really care about. Braylon Dennis says, James Houston better show me something today, or he needs to get the frick off the team. Plain and simple. I mean, James Houston has to show something, because he just hasn't done anything. And when you're talking about a competitive roster like the Lions are right now, you have to be able to do something. Jared Settler says, I had been hearing good things about that tackle they drafted from Canada. Well, the prognosis, the talk about him is that the growth, the progression is steady. It's good. Right now, kicker Jake Bates is getting set up for the dynamic kickoff. And I know this, a lot of Lions fans, and I'd say mostly a lot of NFL fans, are still trying to figure out how they feel about this new kickoff situation. But honestly, I don't really see much of a difference other than just the actual setup. It's still the same thing. It's just a little different. And the kick is away, and everybody moved way too damn soon because the player had not touched the ball, so everybody's going to get flagged for moving way too damn soon. Because that's the rule. With the new kickoff rule, it states that the ball has to either touch the ground or the receiver has to catch it before anybody moves. If they do not move, if they move before that person gets the ball or the ball hits the ground, it's a flag. So we're going to see how this impacts the Steelers' offense now that they're going to be pushed back a little bit. I think they just lost. Oh, they put the flag on the Lions. I thought they did it on the Steelers. So the Steelers are starting at the 40-yard line. Russell Wilson under center, single back. Wilson snaps the ball, hands it off, and it's going to be a pickup of about 5 yards. Going to be a 2nd and 5 coming up. a born leader. If Russell Wilson is a born leader, then that's not saying a whole lot, because I remember when he was in Denver, people couldn't stand him. So, and yes, Rich, you are correct. If it doesn't hit the landing zone or reach the landing zone, it's also a flag. Russell Wilson under center again, man in motion from the right to the left. Ball is snapped, play action, setting up a screen, and going to be tackled right up. Oh, I thought he was tackled. So they're going to give him the pickup. Apparently his knee did not touch the ground. George Pickens with the first down. Did he touch the ground? The elbow's down. That's down. The elbow is down because it states in the rule book that if the elbow or the knee is hitting the ground, that's down. It does not have to be the knee. It can be the elbow. It can be any part except, if I recall correctly, the hand. The hand does not count if you touch the ground. So good tackle by Brandon Joseph there to get Pickens behind the line. That's great. Great job by Brandon Joseph. Pushes the Steelers back 6 yards. So Lions have already pushed them back 5-6 yards. It's going to be 3rd and long for the Steelers. 3rd and 11. Obvious passing situation. So Russell Wilson's going to be in the gun. Got trips to the right. 1 wide receiver to the left. Lions fans are loud. Russell Wilson snaps the ball, looks to throw. He's going to throw it down the field, and he's got Pickens. Pickens beat number 17, Bassey, who the hell I have no idea is, but clearly had him beat. No coverage, no anything. There was at least freaking 5 yards of separation from that cornerback and wide receiver. Way too easy. Obviously, we know that they're playing with their ones, but for crying out loud, man. Wilson under center is going to be an I formation. Fullback bumps out to the tight end position. Wilson snaps the ball. It's a pitch out to the right. And going to be a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Stephen Gilmore with the tackle in the backfield. Good job by Gilmore. Gilmore getting a good tackle behind the line of scrimmage. So they got Pascal out there. So Pascal's definitely someone to pay attention to. I'm doing well, David. I'm doing well. Russell Wilson under center. Man in motion from right to left. Single back. Now the man goes back the other way. Russell Wilson hands it off. Huge hole. And going to be a touchdown. Patterson literally, in essence, just walked right into the end zone. Holy hell. Huge ass hole up the middle. Wow. Dude, look at this hole. Look at this hole. There is nobody at the second level. No linebackers whatsoever. The freaking linebackers are completely not in position. There is a huge ass hole up front, which means that the gaps for the defensive line did not do their job. That is way too damn easy. Way too damn easy. I get it. It's backups. But holy hell, that was horrible. And this is exactly what I was talking about. That if you think about it, take a look at how the Steelers performed the last couple of games against other teams. They were horrible. Like, holy hell. I don't know who missed that tackle, Dean DeGreer. But I know it looked like it was a safety. But I don't think it was Brandon Joseph. I think it was somebody else. Hold on here. I gotta look this up because holy hell. Let's see here. Yeah, so the last two games that the Steelers have played, they played against the Bills and they played against the Texans. And between those two games, they scored a collective amount of 15 points. So just in one game, they've already scored half of what they had in the last two games combined. Yeah, I didn't catch the number either, Dean DeGreer, but this is exactly what I was wondering. Was like, okay, I get it. We're having our second string defense go up against, the starters of the Steelers, but it's like, dude, we should not be having problems like this, which tells me that our defensive depth is not as good as I would have liked it to be. Braylon Dennis says that it's going to be Jake Fromm and it's going to be Hendon Hooker. Well, here's the thing, Braylon. The only reason that they're not playing Nate Sudfeld is because that pretty much tells me they've already made a decision on him, and that means he's going to be on the roster. Because if Sudfeld's not playing, it's the same thing with Goff. They're not going to put him out there because they've already made a determination he's going to be on the roster, which tells me that he's already number 2 QB, and Hooker's just playing for number 3 at this point. It's just for him to get more reps and experience. No, I get it, Rich. I understand. It's one play. But I'm looking at this and it's like, listen, these are guys that are trying to make the roster here. This is guys that are, trying to make plays. That was a play that you should have been able to have made. Perryman says, you're killing me, Smalls. How am I killing you? All right. Commercials have finished. We are now back to the other side. That's exactly what it says, James. That's exactly what it says. The reason why the Lions are starting Hooker is they want him to get more time. They want him to get more experience. They want him to get more reps. That's the reason why Sudfeld is sitting. That's why he's not playing. They've already made the determination. Sudfeld's QB number 2. And out comes the offense. Jason, DPJ still has a shot to make the roster. He still has a shot. The question is whether or not he does anything today. That's the question. Just isn't the way it is, Rich. Obviously, Dan Campbell has made his decision that Sudfeld's number 2 and Hooker's number 3. That's just the way it is. All right, Hooker is in the gun. 1 wide receiver to the left. We got 2 to the right. Man in motion. Hooker drops back, quick throw, gets it out to Knight, and Knight's going to pick up about 8 or 9 yards. Going to set up a 2nd and short. Good throw out of the backfield by Hooker. Ugh. All right. They're going through the starting lineups for the different offensive players. Doesn't really matter. Hooker under center, snaps the ball, going to pitch out to the right, and Knight's going to try and find the lane, and he's going to pick up maybe half a yard, going to make it a 3rd and very short coming up. I got to say this, actually seeing this on television, the Lions freaking home uniforms, they are sexy freaking as hell. That blue, oh my God, that thing pops up on the screen, and it works so well with that silver. I love the home uniforms. That blue is awesome. So much better than the blue from the last uniform. It just pops. 3rd and 1, Hooker in the gun. Man in motion. Hooker snaps, looks to throw, is going to get pressured, drops it off, going to get it off to the freaking Shane Zylstra tight end, going to be a 1st down. Good throw, good composure. Hooker got pressure up the middle, and Knight kind of got a bit of the blitzing linebacker, but Hooker had to hang in there, got the throw off to Zylstra. Very good job. Hooker in the gun. Hooker looks to throw. Hooker stands in there, and Hooker's going to go down. Hooker was trying to find a lane to potentially scramble, and nothing approached, so ate the ball. It's now going to be 2nd and 15, 2nd and 16, somewhere around there. All right. Yeah, 2nd and 16. Hooker's going to be in the gun again. Got trips to the right. Snaps the ball. Hooker looks to throw. Stands in there. Does a couple of double clutches and is going to get sacked again. Held onto the ball way too damn long that time. That was a situation where Hooker had to get rid of the ball. Held the ball way too damn long. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. By 3 Mississippi, you've got to get rid of that ball. Hooker should have either one, scrambled and tried to pick up what he could, or he should have just freaking got out of the pocket and thrown the ball away. He held on to that way too damn long. That right there is a developing quarterback mistake 101. You got to know when to get rid of it. Hooker in the gun. Hooker snaps. Hooker looks to throw. And Hooker is going to fumble the ball. And Steelers have the ball. Wow. Whoo! That was not a good series for Hooker. 2 sacks, then a strip fumble. Wow. I mean, I get it. It's the first series. You're trying to get yourself into a rhythm. You're trying to, get comfortable, but damn. That is just the wrong way to start. No, understand something, folks. Let's time out here. Hooker's not a bust. First and foremost, you have to be like a first round or high second round draft pick to be considered a bust. Second of all, let's understand something here. He's still developing. We've heard it all throughout training camp, and I've said it multiple times on my channel. He's developing. He has to learn how to become a professional quarterback. Again, when he was at when he was at Tennessee, he wasn't operating in a professional offense. He wasn't operating in a West Coast offense. West Coast offense is all about timing. It's all about rhythm. The offense that he ran when he was at Tennessee is a spread offense. There's no timing. There's no rhythm in a spread offense. It's all about throwing to open areas. That's the exact opposite of the West Coast offense. So for Hooker, he's having to learn how to play that system from pretty much the bottom up. So pretty much that's exactly why Hooker's starting this game. The Lions, Campbell especially, they want Hooker to get more repetitions, and they want him to get repetitions against better competition. Because think about it. This is what I said that episode I released yesterday. If you think about it, Hooker's looked pretty good against backups. Well, now he's going up against starting level talent. And this is why I said in the video, it's going to be very interesting to see how Hooker does against the Steelers starting defense, without Hayward and Watt on the defense, of course. No, and I understand what you're saying, Paramount. I'm saying for those that are actually serious, because correct me if I'm wrong, friends, there are people out there in the fan community that as soon as they see something bad, they instantly jump on it, and they're just like, okay, pull the plug. It's like if we'd have gone with that thought process, Dan Campbell would have been fired in year 2 and Jared Goff would have been gone year 2. All right, the game is back, and Steelers have the ball on the offense, and they have got a really short field, and now they're just putting in Justin Fields. So Russell Wilson got one drive, and now it's Justin Fields' time. Fields snaps the ball, hands it off, and is going to pick up, it looks like maybe 2 yards. 2nd and 8 or 2nd and 7 coming up. I wonder if the Steelers are doing what the Cowboys did back with, Craig Morton and what's his face? Roger Staubach. Pardon me, I couldn't think of the name for a minute. And they're going to switch the quarterbacks out each series. Fields under center. Tight end goes in the backfield. Going to be a play action. Fields boots. Fields throws. Fields gets it to his man. And going to be a pickup of about 6 yards. Going to be a 3rd and 3 coming up. James, Fields been sacked more than almost any other quarterback over the last 3 years. Fields takes more sacks than anybody. He's RoboCop sacked. Fields in the gun. Fields snaps it. Going to be an option play and going to pick up the first down. Gilmore played good outside containment, but wasn't able to stop Fields before he got to the first down marker. So it's a fresh set of downs for the Steelers. Excuse me. That's true, Rich. The Bears' offensive line sucks. And I'm telling you this right now, DeAndre Swift, he's going to be in for a rude awakening once he starts trying to run behind it. Fields in the backfield in the gun. Going to be 2 wide receivers to the left and the right. Fields play action. Fields throws. Fields throws down the middle and is going to be stopped short at the 2-yard line. Wow. Fields just ripped that right down the seam, and that was a very well thrown ball. Got to admit, that was a pretty damn well thrown ball. Jarrett, yes, the Steelers starters are out there so far. I mean, the only one that's not out there is Russell Wilson because they pulled him and Fields is now in. And there's a flag on the play. Pascal got the tackle at the line, but there is a flag, so this could be a holding. Wow, holding on the defense. How do you call a holding on Broderick Martin? He's the defensive lineman. I've never understood that. Like, I understand holding on cornerbacks and stuff like that, but how do you call a defensive lineman for holding? Like, that's just silly. I've never understood that penalty, but whatever. It's going to be 1st and goal, and holy crap, there's a whole lot of movement on the field for the Steelers. Fields is in the gun, empty set, 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, the one in motion to the left now comes back to the right. Fields does a complete run to the left, and he is going to be short by 6 inches. Like literally 6 inches short. Yeah, his hip is down. Like I said, like somebody said earlier, James, I think the reason that the starters dressed is potentially just for a photo op. They just wanted to get the guys out there in their uniforms so that way they could get photos. 2nd and goal. Fields in the gun. Fields snaps, hands it off, and easy touchdown. Nobody touched him. There was nobody there. Wow. That is 2 touchdowns literally in freaking the span of 8 minutes. Sheesh. That is way too damn easy. And again, I get it. It's their starters versus our backups, but good God almighty, this is horrible. This is the most points the Steelers have scored all preseason, literally. And flag is thrown, whistles are blown, play is blown dead. What's the flag? False start against the Steelers. Going to push them back 5 yards. And that's going to drive a head coach crazy. Don't care what the coach is. Could be a seasoned vet like freaking Mike Tomlin. Could be a freaking, rookie head coach. False starts drive coaches crazy. Jason, I'm not. It's not Aaron Glenn's fault. Let's understand something here. He's got only 2nd stringers out there. I would not expect 2nd stringers to play well against 1st stringers in any situation. So while it does look bad, it's keeping it in perspective. Yeah, our 2nd stringers are playing against their 1st stringers. But the reason why I'm a little, shook by it is because the Steelers' offense over the last 2 weeks has just not looked good. Again, they've scored more points in this first half quarter, if you will, than they've scored over the last 2 games combined. Because again, in their first preseason game, they only scored 12. Their second preseason game, they only scored freaking 3. So they've pretty much matched their freaking scoring total from their previous 2 games in just 1 half quarter of work against our second string defense. Wow, DC, you just went straight for the jugular, didn't you? Motown Mitch says Martin gets pancaked and gets called for a hold. That's why I said I understand a defensive holding call against, cornerbacks and stuff like that. But how does a defensive lineman get called for a hold? That's like a quarterback getting called for unnecessary roughness. It's like, it just doesn't work. Nobody cares about new era baseball caps. I just want to get back to the game. I swear, I understand commercials, but my God, they are so freaking just annoying. It's like, I wish to God that we could get rid of commercials. Dean DeGreer says it's also only preseason. Let's not lose our mind. Right now, we'll be okay. Again, the way to look at this game is, listen, all this is about is the coaches are trying to evaluate who gets the last couple of spots. So if you know that you're in contention for one of those spots, you better be playing your ass off. And at this point, if it's a defensive position, not a very good spot to be in. Let's just call it for what it is. Even if you're down 14-0, you better put better effort out on the field than what you've done so far. Kickoff is away. It's been fielded and going to find a good return down to the 45-yard line. Isaiah Williams with a great freaking return. Guy can catch, guy can return kicks, just absolutely doing a fantastic job. .360 Smooth says, what's up, man? Not much, just streaming. Hooker under center, I formation, snaps the ball, hands it off, and wow, was able to get out of that potential, tackle in the backfield and was actually able to pick up a couple of yards. Taylor says, I want to see Hutch. I know a lot of people want to see Hutch, but we're going to have to wait until, week 1. Hooker under center, 2nd and 7. Hooker snaps the ball, hands it off, and guy's going to go nowhere. Going to be tackled for easily a 3 to 4 yard loss. Jamar Jefferson never had a chance. Absolutely was just completely engulfed. It's now going to be 3rd and 10. Hooker's in the gun. Man in motion from left to right. Then goes back to the left. It's Williams. Hooker snaps the ball. Looks to throw. Hooker steps up. Throws it. And it is low and behind Donovan Peoples-Jones. There was no chance in hell that DPJ was going to catch that ball. Behind him and low. So the Lions will be forced to punt. Well, at least it's better than not turning the ball over. It's at least better than not giving up a fumble and, giving the Steelers a short field. Fox gets the snap and punts it away. And the ball is received and going to run right into a damn brick wall. Goes nowhere fast. And the Steelers are going to have the ball and are going to start at about their own 20, 25-yard line. Well, I'm gonna say this, fellas. Hooker doesn't look too good right now, but again, he is going up against starters. This is his first start, so we're just gonna have to sit back and see what the kid does. I know there's a lot of Hooker fans out there that were wanting to see Hooker play over Sudfeld, and it's like, okay. Now we're seeing it, and so far it hasn't looked too great. But, again, keeping in the proper perspective, Hooker is going up against starting-level talent. James Janella says, if Goff goes down, our Super Bowl hopes are gone. That was going to happen no matter what the backup quarterback was. You could get the best backup quarterback in the entirety of the NFL. I'm sorry, but Without Goff, we're kind of screwed either way. .360 Smooth says, I wish we could at least see some of our starters in action for the first time. Unfortunately, 360, the problem is that most head coaches have adapted the mindset that, listen, the preseason is all about trying to evaluate young players and UDFAs. They don't want their starters getting out there and getting an injury over a meaningless game. I understand that for us, the fans, we want to see the players because, hey, that's what we want to see. But the problem is that from a coaching standpoint, you don't want to risk your players to more possibility of injury than what they already are in practice. Because think about it, folks, how many freaking players have we seen this, preseason training camp alone that have gone down with injuries, and not just little boo-boo injuries, like serious damn injuries. Hell, our own freaking John Kaminsky went down with injury. So, yeah, I can understand why coaches don't want their starters going out there unless they feel they absolutely have to. And the fact that the Steelers have played all their starters through 3 straight games, that ought to tell you how the coaches feel about their starters. And we are back to the game. Justin Fields is in his second series. Steelers are up 14-0, just kind of waiting for the coaches and the refs to get whatever the thunder they need to do going. Fields breaks the huddle. 1st and 10. That's true, James, but Trent Dilfer also had the best defense in the NFL. Fields snaps the ball, hands it off, and going to be a short 2-yard gain. Golden Tate up in the booth for the first time, being a Lions announcer. Fields in the gun. Tight end in motion from right to left. 2 receivers on the right, 1 on the left. Fields snaps the ball, hands it off, and running back is going to pick up about another 4 or 5 yards, going to make it 3rd and 3. Yeah, you're right, DC. Dilfer was the backup. Well, DC, Dilfer was the backup because the original starter for the Baltimore Ravens in 2000 was actually Tony Banks. Jason, I don't know if Betts makes the team. I want him to. I like Betts. Fields in the gun. Fields fumbles the snap, and Fields tries to get away and not going to get anywhere. So because of a botched shotgun snap, the Steelers are going to have to punt the ball away. Fields lost his helmet on the play. Fields wasn't even expecting the ball. He was looking off somewhere else. So that actually is more on the center. I mean, it's going to go on the quarterback no matter what, but that was more on the center on that one. And the ball is punted away from the Steelers. And there's a flag on the play already. And Isaiah Williams is making people just miss left and right. Picks up about 15 yards on the return, but like I said, there is a flag on the play. Holding on the Lions, and it's holding on Brandon Joseph. At least that's the call. Brandon Joseph is number 40, so they called him for holding on the return. Getting to see some highlights of our starters from last year. Isaiah Williams so far has probably been the best player for the entire Lions roster at this point. And Hooker getting a couple of warm-up throws before he heads back out there for his third series. So let's see here. Hooker's going to be in the gun. Going to have 3 wide receivers to the right with a tight end to the left. Hooker snaps. Hooker throws and tried to set up a screen for Zylstra, and there was nowhere that was going. No blocking was set up, and I don't know, but it seemed to me that like Hooker was kind of slow on the release there. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into that, but there was no blocking whatsoever on that throw. Zylstra didn't have a chance to do anything with that. 2nd and 9. Hooker going to be under center. Got a tight end in motion, and Hooker snaps, gives it to Jamar Jefferson. Jefferson picks up about 4 or 5 yards. David Bryson, I agree. They definitely need to keep Isaiah Williams on the team. I honestly think Isaiah Williams, as an undrafted free agent, has been one of the best players that we've had in camp this year because as an undrafted free agent, you're not expected to do anything. But every single preseason game, he has made play after play. So, yeah, he deserves to be here. Hooker in the gun. Hooker is going to snap it, looks to throw, is going to step out of the pocket, runs, is going to pick up about 7 yards. Like the fact that Hooker got some yardage out of that, but what I don't like is, again, didn't slide. Dude, you're past the line of game. Just slide. Stop trying to freaking, take hits. Damn it. Holds the ball too long. And still has not learned how to slide whenever he decides to run. Like, dude. Hooker under center. And Hooker snaps the ball. Play action. Looks to throw. Holds the ball. And Hooker is going to get sacked again. Holy cow. 3 times in the first quarter, and Hooker has already been sacked. Dude, you need... I get it. It's first stringers against backups, but for crying out loud, as a quarterback, you should know your read progression. If your first read isn't there, you should then be like, okay, what's my second read? If the second read is there, chances are you're not going to get to your third read. You need to then get rid of the damn thing. To be entirely honest, Steve, the line is only going to be able to give you about 2.5 seconds on average. That's why they say that quarterbacks have to have quick processing units. They have to be able to read a defense extremely fast. And suffice it to say, Hooker is taking way too long with his reads. Case in point, when you see Goff back there, do you guys see what his head is doing? It is literally on a swivel. He is looking over the field instantaneously, like, okay, here, here, here. He's not like, oh, I'm going to focus on this spot for like a full second. It's like moving from point to point to point, and he's taking in the whole field very quickly. Dean DeGreer, do I think Isaiah Williams is wide receiver 4? Honestly, I think he's wide receiver. I know it's going to sound silly, but I think he's probably going to be wide receiver 3. Again, the only reason Dan Campbell said that Khalif Raymond was wide receiver 3 is because nobody else has really claimed the spot. But remember also what Dan Campbell said. They don't want Khalif Raymond to be out there taking that number of snaps and hits because of all the responsibilities and stuff that he does with punt returns and also kickoff returns. So it's like, hey, if you can get Isaiah Williams to fill in for that spot and let Khalif Raymond do what he does best as a returner, that is something I could see the Lions doing. But we'll see what happens. Again, at this point, the only guy that's looked good so far this game is Isaiah Williams. And when an undrafted free agent rookie is the only guy that I can say I think has actually played well, that's not good. Like, that's horrible. You're right. You're right, David. Quarterback Basic 101 says this: protect the ball, protect yourself. That is basic quarterback 101. You always protect the ball and you protect yourself. You do not put the ball in harm's way, and you sure as hell don't put yourself in harm's way. Well, yeah, James, Fox looks good too, but Fox always looks good. I can't recall him ever having a bad punt. Hooker in the gun. Hooker is going to snap the ball, looks to throw, gets it out, gets it to nobody. Was trying to throw it to Donovan Peoples-Jones, but if Peoples-Jones would have caught that, he'd have gotten smacked. That's another thing that Hooker's not doing very well. He's not keeping his receivers safe. Notice how when Goff throws passes, he does not put his receivers in harm's way. Hooker's just freaking slinging it and hoping the guys catch it. 3rd and 17, Hooker in the gun again. 2 wide receivers and a tight end to the right, 1 to the left. Hooker looks to throw. Hooker is going to get away and again tries to pick up extra yards and keeps putting his body at risk. I mean, again, I like the fact that Hooker escaped the pocket. I like the fact that he stepped up and got some yards, but you've got to learn to slide. You're trying to do way too dang much, man. 4th and 11. And Fox receives the punt, punts it away. And going to be a great punt all the way back to the 5-yard line. And great tackle by number 48, Strickland, Lawrence Strickland, if I recall correctly, the safety. I could be wrong. All right. So, Steelers are going to come back out onto the field with the offensive possession. And Fields is going to be under center. Going to be 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, and a running back. Fields snaps the ball, play action, boot to the left, throws it, gets it out, and completes it to the receiver. It's going to be a first down. Receiver took a pretty good shot in the back. And Brandon Joseph was the one that gave him a good shot on the backside. Fields going to be under center again. 2 receivers to the right, 1 tight end to the left. Fields snaps the ball, hands it off, and the running back gets the corner and is going to pick up another first down. Broke 2 Lions tackles on the way. That is horrible tackling. No containment on the outside, horrible breakdown tackling, just not good job. That was not good. I just saw Betts come on the screen, so he's now out there. Let's see what Betts can do. Fields is in the gun. Empty backside. Fields snaps it, looks to throw, steps up, throws it, and I don't know if that was caught or not. Was that caught? Nope, they ruled it incomplete. So, oh yeah, that hit the ball. That ball hit the ground. That was incomplete. I believe you're right, Fishing Church, dude. I truly believe you're right. So 2nd and 10 for the Steelers, going to be on their own 36-yard line. Field snaps the ball, does a draw play, and Houston was the one that came up and tackled him. James Houston came up and got him. So Houston with the tackle. First time I can say I've called his name in a game. It's going to be 3rd and 8 for the Lions. Fields is in the gun, going to be trips to the right. Fields going to snap, looks to throw, and going to go nowhere. And Betts and somebody else made that sack. Great job by Betts. Look at that. Did you guys see that? Betts had a great freaking rip move. So that way he had the backside covered, and then up front there was a guy that got to him too. So Fields and that guy split a sack right there. Great job. Isaiah Williams is going to be back to return the punt. Punt is away. Williams is going to get it at the 20-yard line. Williams is going to make a man miss. He's going to get all the way up to the 36, 37-yard line. Williams doing a good job right there. So Betts did good there. Good pressure, good fundamental rip move on the outside. Isaiah Williams, good on the punt return, obviously. Fox is always good with his punts. Ty Summers was the other guy that made the sack. You are correct, David Bryson, but also Betts got part of that sack too. That's a sack that's going to get split in half. And what was I going to do? I'm watching the NFL Plus stream, Dean. Remember, I'm in New York, so I don't get the local stream. I have to use NFL Plus. Thank God we're done with the freaking, stupid freaking commercials. And Hendon Hooker back in there with the offense. Hooker is going to be under center, is going to be a strong eye, then goes to weak, is going to be a slight pitch. And the running back Funk gets about maybe 1 yard or 2. All right, and Hooker is going to be under center again. Man in motion, Hooker snaps, play action boot, and tries to get it to Zylstra, and Zylstra couldn't hold it, couldn't handle it. That was one where definitely needed a better pass. Hooker's going to be in the gun. Brings a man in motion to the left, and there's going to be a timeout because the offense could not get shit going because Hooker was playing around. Got to do a better management of the huddle and getting people into position, Hooker. All right, let's see what they do now with the timeout being done. It's going to be 3rd and 8 for the Lions offense. Hooker is going to be in the gun. Williams in motion from the left to the right, trips right, and there's going to be a flag. Either going to be false start or offsides. False start on the offense. It's going to be a false start on the left tackle, Manu. I mean, Manu's the one that got the call, but hell, everybody was moving there. 3rd and 13 now. Hooker in the gun. 2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Hooker snaps the ball. Hooker looks to throw, and Hooker goes down again. Sacked for the 5th time. That's now Hooker's 5th sack. That's just bad blocking. That's bad blocking from the offensive line, but Hooker needs to know what to do with the ball in that situation, and he's just not doing anything. I agree, Fish and Church, dude. The offensive line needs to do a better job being decent, but in this case, let's call it for what it is. The quarterback ought to realize, hey, he doesn't have a whole lot of time to work with. When you know that you ain't got a whole lot of time to work with, you need to readjust how you're going to approach the offensive attack. Hey, I'm supposed to have 3 seconds for this pass to get off. Okay, I'm not going to get 3 seconds. At that point, then, I need to be like, what's the shortest, quickest route? And if it's not there, I'm running and sliding. Hooker is trying to hold on to the ball and make plays, and it's like, listen, you're not going to make them. so far, holy cow. Hooker is 3 of 6, 5 sacks for 29 yards for a 56.2 passer rating. He has negative 12 passing yards because the sack yardage is reducted from his passing yardage total. So technically, Hooker has negative passing yards because he's got so much sack yardage right now. Wow. I don't think I've ever heard of that. I don't think I've ever heard of a time where a quarterback has negative passing yardage because he's been sacked so much and he hasn't been able to get any throws to where he can throw and get pick up some yardage. And I'm just, dude, just remember something, folks. When we drafted Hooker, how many Hooker fanatics said Hooker over Goff? Who's all saying that now, I wonder? I get it. If Hooker would have had the starting offensive line that, Goff has and all those weapons, maybe a different story. But even still, Hooker's not making plays like he should be making. There's clearly a talent gap. All right, we are still back at the game, and it's 14-0 still. Oh, my Lord. Now the Steelers are putting their third-string quarterback. They took out Justin Fields. Now they're on their third-string quarterback. Kyle Allen is the quarterback now. Snaps the ball, hands it off, and going to pick up about 2 or 3 yards. Amon-Ra and J-Mo talking to each other. Honestly, David Bryson, I wouldn't give Hooker more than 2 years. And the reason why is because he's already 26 years old. Kyle Allen under center. Going to be a power formation. Allen snaps the ball, looks to throw, and is sacked. And James Houston with the sack. Good sack by James Houston there. Starting to make some noise. Starting to make some stuff happen. Good job. Kyle Allen is going to be in the gun. Got Deuce to the left, Deuce to the right for wide receivers. Kyle Allen snaps the ball, is going to throw it. And they're going to give him the catch, but it's still going to be way too dang short. Yeah, that's a catch. Good job by the receiver to actually catch that dang thing. There's not enough clear evidence to overturn that. So, and it doesn't get a first down, I wouldn't bother with it. Just let the guy have the catch and say it's 4th and 7. No sense to challenge that. Isaiah Williams back to get the receiving for the punt and catches it at the 15, is going to start Jansen and running around and is going to find a lane and picks up about almost 15 yards, gets down to the 28-yard line. Jahmyr Gibbs on screen looking pretty good. Looks like Jahmyr Gibbs is not in too much distress from the hamstring injury, which is good news. Dude, I have seen this commercial now going on freaking 5-6 dang times. I get it, New Era. You're trying to freaking push out, freaking your caps for the NFL, but for crying out loud, I don't need to see it every freaking 35 seconds. Again, Dean, this is what I said in the previous episode yesterday. I said, listen, this is a perfect opportunity for Hooker to see if he's ready. And let's call for what it is. He's gone through 4 drives, and he's not been able to do anything. Now, is that all his fault? Absolutely. It's not all his fault. But there are clear signs while he's been out there that he's not ready. Holding on to the ball way too freaking long. Going way too slow through his progressions, through his reads. Not sliding when he should be trying to protect himself. And again, this is all stuff that has been reported in the past. And I've talked about it in my podcast. And there were some people, one that wanted to directly confront me on this, that said I was making this crap up. And it's like, listen, what we're seeing now is what actually is happening in practice. Because think about it. Hooker's not always going up against the second and third stringers in practice. He's going up sometimes against the first stringers, just like he's doing right here. It's a lot easier for Hooker to look really good when he's going up against the backups or the backups of backups. Anybody can do that. But what can you do when you're playing against teams' first stringers? That's when the true measure comes out. And that's what we're seeing right now with Hooker. Does he have talent? Undeniable talent. But the problem is that he is just mentally and physically not up to speed to play at a starting level. And not even a backup level, not a QB2 level. That's why freaking Dan Campbell said that Nate Sudfeld has the upper hand. Not because Nate Sudfeld's a more talented quarterback. That's not up for debate. Obviously, Hooker's more talented. But freaking, Nate Sudfeld, he has the experience. He understands how to play at that kind of a speed and has that, a talent level to at least do that. Now, if Hendon Hooker could get up to that level much faster, then we wouldn't have to worry about this. But it's quite plainly obvious that Hooker's just not there yet. Speaking of Hooker, Lions offense back out there. Hooker's going to be under center. Is going to be an I formation, strong. Hooker snaps the ball. Is going to be a play action boot. Gets it to James Mitchell, and Mitchell drops it. And that right there is why I have said James Mitchell is not making the roster. Mitchell have to secure the damn catch. And I can guarantee you this, for Dan Campbell, an old tight end, that is something he would hate to see. 2nd and 10 for the Lions. Hooker in the gun. Man in motion. Hooker snaps, looks to throw. Holds the ball, and gets it underneath to Davis. Davis is going to be short by 1 yard. So the Lions are going to be at 3rd and 1. Caden Davis picked up 9 yards. Hooker's going to be in the gun. 2 wide receivers to the left. Hooker snaps. It's going to be a draw play. And it looks like Funk is either going to be just short or he is going to be right on the button. And it looks like the Lions got the first. Looks like they got the first down. Looks like they're going to give it to him. So, shoot, that's one of the Lions' first downs this entire afternoon so far. So, that's something. I'm sorry to say it like that, but that's something. Hendon Hooker in the gun. Got 3 to the left and 2 to the right. Empty. Hooker looks to throw. Gets a quick throw out, and wow. Donovan Peoples-Jones should have caught that, but oh my God, that was dangerous. Did you see how fast that cornerback picked up on that throw? That was a dangerous throw. Hooker literally telegraphed that throw. That was a bad decision. I get it's a quick hitter, but dude, that was almost a pick six. Hooker snaps, hands it off, and Funk either picks up 9 or 10. It's going to be either 3rd and 1 or 1st and 10, depending upon the spot. I don't know how the hell Funk got out of that freaking, mess in there, but he got out of it, and they gave him the first down, actually. Hooker going to be under center, Funk in the backfield. Hooker snaps the ball, hands it off to Funk, and Funk this time is not going to go anywhere. Winds up actually losing a yard. It's going to be 2nd and 11. All right. Hooker in the gun. 2nd and 11. Hooker looks to throw. Hooker gets the ball out. Gets it to... Who's number 80? Oh, that's Williams. Isaiah Williams with another catch and another first down. That's the Lions' 3rd straight first down on this drive. So they're now starting to string something together here. Goff cheering on the young... his understudy, or rather I should say one of his understudies. Hooker under center. Yeah, right. Hooker snaps, going to be play action. Hooker steps up and tried to get it underneath to the running back, and the ball was batted down. Hooker actually got rid of the ball there and actually did something with it. Did a pretty good job getting rid of the pass rather than taking a sack. Williams is back in. Hooker's in the gun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Receiver to the right goes to the left. Going to be trips left. Hooker snaps the ball, gives it to Funk, and Funk's got a huge hole. Going to pick up about 13, 14 yards. Nice carry, Jake Funk. Somehow, I don't think the Steelers' starting defense is out there anymore, which I hate saying it like that, but it's quite plainly obvious that there is clearly a difference in production. Because that's now the 4th Detroit Lions first down. Hooker's in the gun. Hooker snaps, looks to throw, and is going to step up under pressure. And Hooker is going to get down to the 1-yard line. Hooker felt the pressure, stepped up, and picked up some production. So, good pocket awareness by Hooker. Hooker under center. Hooker snaps, hands it off to Funk, and Funk is going to be getting right back to the line of scrimmage. Tried to extend out to try and get to the goal line. Oh my goodness. Did you guys see that? Jake Funk tried to give the ball to the referee, and a Steelers player literally flapped it away from the ref, and the ref was like, "Yo, dude, what the frig?" Hooker in the gun. 2 receivers to the left. Hooker snaps the ball. Hooker looks to throw. Hooker gets it to Funk, and touchdown. That right there is Hooker's first passing touchdown. Well, the Lions are now on the board, which is good. I'm also on a different broadcast, Richard. You guys are probably on the local broadcast. I am on NFL Pluses. Jake Bates to kick the extra point. And the extra point is up, and the extra point is right down Broadway. It is good. Good job there. Offense finally starts stringing some plays together, makes something happen, which is good. Though I have to have a sinking suspicion that was not against the first team Steelers defense. That was probably against the second stringers. Maybe even the third stringers. Who the hell knows? Couldn't really say. But all the same, still good to see some production. And Jake Bates just kicked the ball out of bounds, which that's a very hard thing to do considering the fact that the field is freaking 50 yards wide. And Allen, at quarterback for the Steelers, throws it, and Miller gets away and gets about 1 yard, maybe 2. Who knows? Maybe they do, David. They've said that Hooker was going to play the first half in total. But they also said there was a chance he might play into the third quarter here. So we'll see what happens. I don't know how long the Steelers starters played. I know that Russell Wilson was in for 1 drive. And then I know that Justin Fields was in for, I think, 2, 3, closer to 3 or 4 drives before they brought in Kyle Allen. So I would probably say that the entirety of the Steelers starters probably was in for the first quarter. Maybe that. Jeez Louise. This New Era commercial is getting on my nerves. I swear, I've seen enough of New Era commercialing for the rest of my life already. Oh, boy. Can these commercials be done sometime this century? Perry Sewell's not out at all. He merely rolled his ankle. He's probably going to be sore for a couple of days, but he'll be fine. He's not out. According to Dan Campbell, most if not all of the starters that have been dealing with injury will be available week 1, so nothing to worry about there. I don't think they're going to get him out of there, Motown. I think they're probably going to keep him in there until about the third quarter. Again, they want to get Hooker as many reps as they possibly can. All right, we're at the 2-minute warning for the second quarter. Just waiting for the actual broadcast to get back going again. All right. Kyle Allen for the Steelers is in the gun. It's an empty set. And ball is snapped. Allen looks to throw. Allen steps up, and it's going to be a fumble. And it looks like the Lions recovered it. And the Lions have recovered the snap. So Uku got the strip fumble, and it looks like Wingo is down there fighting for the ball. So Uku got the strip, and Wingo got the recovery. Hooker under center, going to be at the 33-yard line. Hooker snaps the ball, play action, looks to throw, gets the ball out, throws it to Davis, and Davis is going to pick up about 20 yards on that throw. Good throw. Very good dig route right there. Good dig route there by Caden Davis. Good catch. How's it going, Lions Mania? Hooker under center, man in motion. Hooker pitches it, is going to give it to, I believe that's Jamar Jefferson, and is going to pick up about 6 yards. Second and 3, so it's actually a pickup of 7. Lions are going to take a timeout with 44 seconds left to go. It's their second timeout. Don't know if it was because they were running out of clock or if they decided to go with a different play. All right, here we go. Hooker in the gun, snaps it, going to be an option bootleg, and Hooker is going to pick up about 2 yards with his legs, gets pushed out of bounds. Also stopped the clock there, so the Lions didn't have to burn their last timeout, so pretty smart play there. Hooker's going to be in the gun. Hooker snaps it, brings it down, and going to give it to Jamar Jefferson, and Jefferson's going to push the pile to the 1 yard line. So it's going to be second and goal and the Lions are going to take their last timeout with 28 seconds left. So realistically, the Lions have about enough time to realistically run 2 or 3 plays. So I would wager that either they're going to run 1 run play and 1 pass play, or they're going to just run all pass plays to try and get it into the end zone. And if they don't, they'll probably just kick a field goal. All right, 2nd and goal. Snaps the ball, hands it off, and Jamar Jefferson gets the touchdown. And with that, Lions are 1 point away from tying it up. And Bates kicks it. It's up. It's good. 14 all. So with 25 seconds left before the half, the Lions tie it up. Players are over there having a grand old time. Jameer talking with Jamar. Same with Demo. St. Brown's also in that group too. All right. The kickoff is about to commence. Hopefully Bates can keep the ball in this time. Kickoff is away and going to have a chance to do something and is tackled about the 25-yard line, but there is a flag on it. Honestly, Lions Mania, I'm really not holding on the Steelers. And to answer your question, Lions Mania, I'm not really sure I like or dislike the new kickoff rule. Is it something new to get used to? Absolutely, because it looks weird. But realistically, I don't really have much of an issue with it because the whole thing that everybody was talking about with the whole kickoff rule that they decided to change was, it's not going to allow us to, return the ball. But actually, there's more returns. So rather than the old kickoff rule where it was kind of almost a formality, you just kick the ball off, take a knee, or let the ball go into the end zone, you start at 25. Now you actually have people that are trying to take the ball out because that's the rule. I don't know if DPJ is going to make the roster. I really don't. I've constantly said it. That wide receiver room right now is one of the most hardest to figure out. Obviously, Isaiah Williams is making the team. He can do everything you're asking of him so far. He's been great on special teams as a returner. He's been great as a wide receiver. He's been the best wide receiver we've had this entire preseason. So, okay, you've got J-Mo, Amon-Ra St. Brown, you've got Khalif Raymond, you've got Isaiah Williams. But that's only 4 wide receivers that it's one of those things where you just got to take some time. I don't know if DPJ is going to make it or not. Because while DPJ has the body frame you're looking for, so I don't know. It's one of those things where you're just going to have to see what happens. I mean, obviously the Lions are going to evaluate everything that they do in terms of both preseason games and also the practices. So for me, it's like, listen, I don't know if they're going to keep DPJ or not. He's probably the most talented of all the guys out on the roster that's fighting for a job. But is that going to be enough? Foxboy, I think Funk's got a spot on this, practice roster. I don't think he's going to make the final roster, but I think that once cuts are done, Funk is a guy that the Lions will probably bring back, and they'll put him on the practice squad. Dean DeGreer, Caden Davis is doing very well. Not going to take that away from him, but I don't know if Caden Davis is going to be able to supplant DPJ because, again, the Lions front office, they're going to evaluate everything. They're going to evaluate what's going on in practice. They're going to evaluate what's going on during the games. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like, listen, once you take a look at the full body of work, who makes the roster? And like I said, Dan Campbell said that there was only 5 or 6 spots that were still up for grabs going into this game. I don't even know if the wide receivers are one of them. So for me, it's like, I don't know what to expect. I would like to think one of the wide receivers is up for grabs. I'd like to think that maybe a lineman on both defensive and, offensive is up for grabs. Maybe a linebacker, cornerback, something like that. But nobody's going to know officially until we hit 4 p.m. on Tuesday. Because that's when we're going to find out officially, okay, who actually makes the roster. And let's understand something here. Just because they're the guys that make it onto the initial 53 does not mean that that's the final moves that are going to happen. Because once all the rosters are cut down from 90 to 53, I guarantee you this, GMs are going to start looking around and be like, okay, maybe we can pick up somebody else that we think is better than what we've already got. So just because that's what the Lions have at that time, that does not mean that's the end of it. If I know anything about Brad Holmes, he's going to be scurrying the freaking waiver wires, and he's going to be trying to find people. Now, whether or not he's going to get them is unlikely because the waiver wire is based off of last year's schedule. Or not last year's schedule, last year's record. So with the Lions having a 12-5 record, they're going to be way down on the waiver wire, which means if somebody else wants that player, chances are we're not going to get them. All right, fellas, I'm gonna go get some water because my throat is scratchy and sore. So I will be back in a moment. Oh, all right. Dean DeGreer asks, has Betts shown up enough in this game so far? I know there's another half to play. I mean, he had one good play, but I don't think I've seen enough of him. He had one good play off the edge where he kind of got half of a sack with the linebacker, but that's about it. But to be entirely honest, I haven't really seen a whole lot of Betts out on the field. So I don't know if that's by design or if it's because Betts is just not getting a whole lot of playing time. Just because he's tall, Braylon, I wouldn't just grab him just because he's tall. He has to be a culture fit. So if he's a culture fit and the Lions want him, then maybe they go out and grab him. But I guarantee you, Brad Holmes has already known about Hakeem Butler being cut, and since they haven't really done anything, tells me they don't want him. Chances are they're probably still wanting to evaluate what they've got. Who else played the new Madden game? I've been playing it, and I got to be honest, I've actually been kind of surprised. It's actually been a very good experience. It's not like the old Madden games where it was like, hey, after about, a couple of days, I was kind of bored with it. But I've been playing it, and it's like, I actually think it's probably the best Madden I've played in quite a while. First and foremost, I like the fact that the graphics are even better than what I thought they were going to be. But I love the fact of, I guess I just love the gameplay. The gameplay, I think, is probably the most authentic it's been in a while. I love the fact that they've put a lot more into how players are reacting to when they get hit on the field. I love the fact that they're doing a whole lot more as far as actual gameplay. I mean, I think it's probably the best Madden that the EA's pushed out probably in, probably about 10 years. I mean, I'm going to say this right now. Yes, college football is also good too, DC. College football is very good. Honestly, here's what I'm going to say. I don't know if Williams is going – I don't think we have to worry about Williams making the roster. I think he's already punched and signed his ticket well long ago. I think he makes this roster easily. Betts, question mark. Well, I'm going to tell you this, David. You should definitely get your hands on it because it's a very good game. And I have been extremely critical of the Madden games over the last, I've been extremely critical of the Madden games over the last 5-7 years. They've just not been good. Like, for me, it would be like I got so tired of the game, I just stopped playing it. And I would go find something else to play. But ever since I've gotten it, even if it is brand new, I'm intrigued by the game because it actually feels about as close to reality as I think the game has been in quite a while. Motown Mitch, I don't know if Betts in Houston make the roster. I really don't know. The way I look at it is this. Betts could make the roster because of the fact that he's got a lot more of a base of talent than Houston does. But again, I don't know what the Lions are going to do on that front. Well, that's funny you should bring that up, Bunny King, because I've actually thought about doing something like that. Like say, hey, you know what? During the offseason, when there's not a lot of news, I actually do like a stream series, if you will, where it's like, hey, I'm playing as a GM, a franchise, if you will, of the Detroit Lions, and then how I go about doing it is my way of actually being the GM, kind of like being a pseudo GM or something like that. Or I could possibly do the career mode and then play as a career player. That's something that I've thought I could do. And I also could do this too, because I know a lot of people don't know about it. Well, they do know about the game, but the game's been long since forgotten about because nobody really plays it much anymore. I also have the last NFL head coach game that EA made, NFL Coach 09. And that is a game I would love to do, but I mean, for crying out loud, that's going all the way back to 2009. So you be dealing with players that have long since retired. But yeah, I have really thought about doing stuff like that, like, you know, playing Madden, playing NFL head coach, college football now that it's out. Motown, I guarantee you this, there's one name you're forgetting, and that's Davenport. I can tell you this right now. The fact that Davenport has not played at all this preseason tells me that the Lions are already planning on using him as the edge rusher opposite of Hutch. At this point, more what they're trying to find is who's the best depth options behind that. Now, whether that's Betts, whether that's Houston, I don't know. But I know this, that when you start getting down to those last, couple of roster spots, it gets very, very tough to make decisions. Because it's like, okay, how do you justify keeping one guy over the other? Ugh. The fact I've got to watch Kelly Stafford in a commercial. Ugh. He might not, Motown. I don't know. I'm trying to keep a positive attitude that, you know what, maybe he might be able to stay healthy. I don't believe he is. That goes against a long tradition of his, history. But again, this is why I don't envy the job that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have, because they've got to figure out how to justify cutting certain people and then hope and pray like hell that guys that they want but they can't keep, because they know if they cut somebody else, they are going to lose them. They've been able to get them back on the roster as practice squad players. Again, that's one of those things where it's like it's a really delicate balancing act. And there's no way to realistically know who is going to, how everything's going to flesh out by the time you're done. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying I don't want either Houston or Betts. If I'm being honest, I would like to have them both on the roster. I really would. But the problem is if you do that, you're going to have to cut somewhere else. And that's where it starts getting into a real problem, because it's like, well, the Lions have pretty much already stated they're keeping 3 quarterbacks. Chances are they're going to keep 4 running backs. They're going to need to at least keep 4 or 5 wide receivers. Probably going to keep 3 tight ends. I would say at least 9 to 10 offensive linemen, 9 to 10 defensive linemen, including edge rushers, probably 5 or 6 linebackers, and then probably also about 6 or 7 corners. But the game is back, and Maurice Alexander is returning this kickoff return. I agree, Perry, that, Nate Sudfeld is a waste of space, but it's irrelevant what we think at this point. It's quite obvious that the Lions want to keep Nate Sudfeld. And Hooker starts the second half, is going to hand the ball off to Zonovan Knight. Knight's going to pick up about another 3 yards. I think Jake Funk's made the practice squad with today's performance. I think he has. Independent Aquaman, before the first touchdown, Hooker was not looking too pretty good. Hooker was looking pretty shaky. Hooker is in the gun. Man in motion to the left. Hooker snaps, looks to throw. Hooker gets it off and throws it to Zylstra. Zylstra is going to get the first down. Because to answer your question further, Independent Aquaman, Hooker was sacked 5 times. We had 4 drives where we got absolutely nothing. So, yeah, that was pretty bad to start. But over the second half of the second quarter, things started picking up. Hooker in under center, play action, looks to throw, goes deep downfield, and incomplete. Was throwing it to Darius Fountain, and the ball was definitely on target, but it was a little bit behind. Like, Hooker could have gotten that ball out a little bit further. But who's impressed me, Jarrett? Isaiah Williams has impressed me. A couple of others. Hooker snaps the ball, hands it off to Knight. Knight's going to spin out of a tackle, picks up about 3 yards. But Isaiah Williams has impressed me. Caden Davis has impressed me. Jake Funk has impressed me. That would be about it so far. Hooker in the gun. And Hooker snaps the ball, looks to throw, steps up, starts running. He's going to run, and he's going to go outside of bounds, and he's going to pick up the first down. Smart run. To answer your question already, Independent Aquaman, he did have one foolish run. He tried to run over 2 people, but past that, he's kind of been smart getting out to the sidelines. And Dale, to answer your question, no. Sudfeld did not start the second half. From what they've been saying, they're saying Hooker might play 3 out of the 4 quarters this game. They're wanting to get him as many reps as they possibly can. Hooker under center, brings a man in motion, looks like Davis, snaps the ball, hands the ball off to Knight, and Knight's going to get maybe a half a yard, if that. Hooker in the gun. Hooker snaps, and it's a bobbled snap. Hooker picks it up and runs with it. Doesn't take a slide. Gets hit in the lower legs again. So offsides on the defense. So they're going to keep the result of the play, which is a first down. Good job by Hooker to actually do something with the ball, but you've got to slide, dude. I get it. You're trying to pick up yards, but again, that inconsistency. A couple of times he's shown very smart with the ball running, and other times he's not been smart with it. 1st and 10, Hooker in the gun. Hooker snaps, looks to throw, gets it out quick, and no can do. Tom Kennedy was eaten up alive. No blocking on that outside wide receiver screen. Nothing. Second and 11. Hooker in the gun again. Hooker snaps, looks to throw, gets it out quick to Zylstra. Zylstra is going to pick up about 9 out of the 11. It's going to be a 3rd and 2, maybe 3rd and 3 coming up. Zylstra having a good day, so I'd also include Zylstra as somebody who's impressed me. Zylstra's been doing a very good job. I would say Zylstra's definitely played his way onto the roster while James Mitchell has played his way off. 3rd and 3, Hooker in the gun. Hooker snaps, hands it off to Knight, and Knight's going to pick up a first down. So far, the only running backs we've seen have been Jamar Jefferson and Zonovan Knight. So, have not really seen Vaki at all, which tells me they've probably already made their decision on Vaki and they're just resting him. Hooker under center. Hooker snaps, hands the ball off to Knight again, and Knight's going to pick up about a yard, if that. Who are you talking about, Perry? You said Zane looks healthy? Are you talking about Zonovan Knight? Or are you talking about Shane Zylstra? Because Shane Zylstra, yeah, he looks healthy. He's out there making plays. Hooker's in the gun. It's going to be 2nd and 8. Hooker is going to snap the ball, looks to throw, is going to run up the middle, and again, does not slide. Stays up and takes another hit. He was way too damn slow on going for that slide. He started sliding and then just took another freaking hit. Swordsdale, I think, is doing okay, Dean. I'm not saying he's doing well, but the fact that I haven't really noticed him screwing up is a good thing. 3rd and 1 for the Lions. Hooker brings the man in motion. Hooker hands it off and is going to be, going to be close. It's either going to be right on the button or it's going to be like an inch or two short, one or the other. It's going to really depend on the ball. And it looks like the refs are going to call it short. They're going to call it 4th down. Yeah, Perry, he's healthy. Shane Zylstra's healthy. So it looks like the Lions are going to go for it on 4th and 1, trying to go up. And there's a flag, and it's a false start. So because of the false start, now they're going to send out the field goal unit. And it's on Manu, the Canadian tackle, and Campbell does not look too happy about it. Jake Bates is going to come out to attempt a 30-yard field goal. And the kick is up, and it's no good. Wow. Wow, Bates. Jeez. Well, it's definitely been symptomatic of how this game has been, about the ups and downs. Motown Manu's making the roster. The Lions traded up to get him. They are not cutting him. Honestly, Dean, what happened out there was a whole bunch of what my dad would call and what I also call tomfuckery. Honestly, the way I look at it, folks, is this, is that, you know what? Bates is still a project. He's still learning as well. The fact that, we've seen him kick and we've seen him make, up until now, everything that has happened. I'm not too worried about it. It's kind of bad that it was a short field goal and he missed it, but the way I look at it is this. I still would much rather have these kicks being missed right now rather than, we don't go for field goals at all during the preseason, put him in these situations, and then we try to start doing it in the regular season. So for me, it is what it is. All right, so Steelers offense is out there. Going to start at the 20-yard line. It's going to be a single back formation. Allen snaps, hands it off, and the running back is going to pick up about 2 yards. It's going to be a 2nd and 8 coming up. Allen under center. Looks like he's calling an audible of some type or checking. He's going to snap the ball, pitches it out to the running back, and the running back is going to go nowhere. Stephen Gilmore with another good tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Gilmore making some plays, doing a very good job as a cornerback. Perry ball, yes. Broderick Martin is playing. Allen snaps in the gun, looks to throw, going to uncork a deep ball, and is going to get one over Steven. There is a flag on the play, and Fitzpatrick beat Gilmore. 60-yard gain. Wow. So not only did Gilmore get burned, but he also got called for pass interference. And David, no, I don't think Gilmore makes the roster. I think he's probably going to get cut. And if they can, they're probably going to try and bring him back on practice squad. But he's not ready yet. Allen under center, Steelers in an I formation. And Allen snaps the ball, hands it off, and some bad tackling by 2 people in the backfield that missed him. But good job by that last guy who was able to eat up the tackle and was able to get him down at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 9. Well, there's clearly Betts right there. Just saw him right in the screen, and there's Martin as well. So 2nd and 9. Allen's in the gun. And Allen snaps the ball. It's going to be a play action. Allen throws it, and incomplete. There's a flag on the play, though. And by the judging of the location, it's probably going to be a defensive holding or pass interference. Pretty much the same damn thing. Dude, what the frig, man? Don't you be smiling out there laughing. You just got called for a damn penalty, which just gave them a first down. I hate that when freaking players get called for flags and they smile it off. It's like, no, dude, don't you be smiling. You just cost us. Allen's in the gun. Allen brings a man in motion. Allen snaps it, hands it off, and not going to get anywhere. Looks like Broderick Martin was there to swallow him up. Hey, Ronnie, that's just how I think. It's like, for me, it's like, dude, don't you be smiling, don't you be laughing like, hey, you know what? It's whatever. No, it ain't whatever. You cost us. And it's that freaking guy we just signed from the Commanders, Wild Goose. I think he's a wild goose chase. Allen in the gun, snaps the ball, hands off again, and is going to get tackled. It's going to be 3rd and probably 7, 3rd and 8 maybe. Could also be 3rd and 6. It's going to be around the middle of the range, kind of down distance. So it's going to be 3rd and 5 actually. All right. Kyle Allen is going to be under center. Snaps it, play action, throws it, and overthrew his target. And it's going to be 4th down. So the Lions defense stands tall. Kyle Allen kind of helped them out there a little bit. So the Steelers are going to bring out the field goal unit to try and give them a 3-point lead. It's going to be about probably a 28, 30-yard field goal. Same as kick is up, kick is good. Yep, 26-yard field goal. About the same distance as what, freaking Jake Bates missed. But Steelers are now up by 3. Oh, oy vey. Let's see here. I'm curious what the statistical breakdown is so far for this game. Let's see what we got here. Hendon Hooker is 10 for 17. He has 82 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown with a passer rating of 90.8. Also has 5 sacks for 29 yards. Hendon Hooker also is the leading rusher for the team. He has 7 rushes for 63 yards. Shane Zylstra is leading all receivers with 4 receptions for 29 yards. Let's see here. Let's see here. Ty Summers, the linebacker, has the most tackles on the team right now. He has 7, followed by Stephen Gilmore with 5. So far, not too much craziness going on. At least the Lions are not doing terrible. I mean, it looked terrible at the start, that's for sure. But overall, the depth has played okay. I don't agree with that, Sean. I don't think Bates is a project. I think what Bates needs is he just needs to get a little bit more confidence. And I think that so far his confidence is pretty good. I think more than anything, it's just like, hey, you know what? He just needs to get more reps and, more situations where he's kicking field goals. Which for me, I don't have a problem with that. Remember, folks, when Jason Hansen first got into the NFL, he wasn't that great of a kicker either. It took him a while before he was consistent. Everybody expects kickers to come in and just, be 100% all the damn time. But the way I look at it is, you know what? I'd much rather have the misses now rather than in the regular season. going to be another flag on the Lions. So definitely going to be a conversation, I bet you this, with the coaches against the players, because there's been a lot of dirty laundry flying all over the place. Well, Vaki's dressed. He's ready to play, but it doesn't look like the Lions are using him right now. Hooker under center, brings a man in motion. Hooker snaps it, hands it off to Jamar Jefferson. And Jefferson's going to pick up about 3 yards. Going to be 2nd and 7 coming up. I agree, Sean. Bates can't be missing 25-yarders either. But again, I would much rather take a look at the prospect of the fact that, hey, it's happening right now. And again, kickers have missed field goals at all ranges, whether it's short, medium, or long. Doesn't necessarily mean a guy's a bad kicker. Hooker gets the snap in the gun all day to throw and intercepted. Wow, Cameron Sutton, our ex-corner, just picked off frickin' Hendon Hooker. Wow. I cannot believe that. Hooker had all day to throw, and then he throws a poor ball that frickin' Sutton intercepts on a tip. Williams should have caught that, but he put it a little too far out in front. That is not a good pass. Williams should have caught that, but freaking Hooker could have put that in a little bit closer. But I do agree, Williams should have caught that one. As the saying goes, if it hits you in the hands, you're supposed to catch it. That's all I'm saying, Sean. The pass could have been better. But at the same time, Williams should have caught the ball. Again, I hate saying it, but it's kind of the old rule. When I was playing football, it was the same thing I was told all the time. If it hits you in the hands, you need to catch it. The way I look at it is pretty simple, is that, you know what? Hooker could have had a better pass because of the fact he had so much time in the pocket. But Williams has to catch that. It's that simple. That's how I look at it. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. All I know is that while Hooker has talent, and it's very, very plainly obvious he has talent, he is a very raw project. He still has to work on accuracy. He still has to work on decision-making. He still has to work on progressions through his reads. He still has to learn when to slide. And he also needs to learn just, hey, you know what? You have to understand how to play the game at that level. Again, it's all part of getting reps. It's all part about playing. So for me, it's like, you know what? Again, you're gonna have mistakes. I can still play, but I haven't played in 10 years, Motown. but I'd still have the ability to sling a ball around pretty dang good. And Allen in the gun, and I think Strickland finished it off, but I don't know. Was that Gilmore that again got back there first? I don't know. Who was the guy that originally wrapped him up? Allen is going to call a timeout. Obviously did not like something that he saw. Good Lord. Let's see here. I'm getting freaking messages from people here. What the thunder's going on, I wonder. Hey. That's funny. Anyway, just stupid stuff. Nothing serious. Steve Sells says, as bad as they have played, and they're still in it. Motown Mitch says, just made a deal with my cuz, who is a diehard Seahawks fan. Hooker and Sudfeld for Sam Howell. That'd be an interesting trade, but I don't think that one's going to happen. Dean DeGreer says, wonder if we'll see Fromm today, fourth quarter perhaps. I don't know if we're going to see Fromm. Honestly, I think once the fourth quarter starts, we're probably going to see Sudfeld. All right. Allen is in the gun for the Steelers, snaps the ball, hands it off, and the running back is going to pick up about 6-7 yards, going to get about going to take it down to a 2nd and 14 to a 3rd and 7. And it looks like we have an injury. And that injury is Broderick Martin. Broderick Martin is down with an injury. Rich, yes, Houston has played today. Well, looks like Broderick is not in too bad of shape. He's able to walk under his own power, so that's good. But he is hobbling, so he's probably done for the day. 3rd and 7 coming up. Allen in the gun. Allen snaps, looks to throw, going to uncork another one. And Gilmore has been beat again. Had good coverage, but still got beat. Okay, good. So actually it's an incomplete press. It's an incomplete pass. So good job by Gilmore sticking with it, making sure. All right, 4th and 7. Steelers are going to punt the ball away, and the punt is off. And going to be a fair catch at about the 12-yard line. So 1:05 left to go in the 3rd quarter. This is probably going to be either Hooker's last drive or probably going to be Sudfeld's first drive. Kind of depends on how they play this. Well, Hooker's back out there, so Hooker's in the gun. Hooker snaps it, looks to throw, gets it off quick, and throws it to Alexander. Looks like it's a completed pass. Ooh. That's a fumble. That's technically a fumble. And Hooker is going to get away. At least he tried to slide. At least he tried to slide. Again, I like the fact that he's trying to slide. All right. We're down by 3. Start of the 4th quarter.
Healthcare Clinic. Calling to
I love it when people call me for stuff. Granted, that was just a automated message, so not that big a deal. Boop, boop. Looks like we just had a big play. It's going to be a horse collar foul against the Steelers. That was a great catch by Alexander. That was not a good throw by Hooker. That was way too freaking high, and Hooker's great. Hooker better be thanking his lucky stars Alexander went up and got that, because that was way too high. Hooker snaps, play action, is dancing, looking around, and Hooker is going to get to the edge, and he's going to pick up a first down with his legs. There's a flag on the field. Probably going to be a holding on the Lions. It's usually what happens when that particular thing occurs. So it was actually on the defense, but there's no foul, so it just stands as is. Hooker's going to be under center. Man in motion, snaps the ball. Play action, boot to the left. Hooker is going to pump fake, pull it down, and takes another hit. I'll give Hooker this. He's exciting to watch, but every time I see him run, I instantly start to get very nervous. 2nd and 2 for the Lions. Hooker under center. Hooker snaps, hands the ball off, and Jefferson's going to pick up the first down. It's going to be 1st and goal. Lions are down by 3. Hooker's going to be in the gun. Hooker snaps, going to be a draw play. And Jefferson's going to get into the end zone. Touchdown for the Lions. Lions have retaken the lead. Kick is up. Kick is good. Lions up 21-17. All right. So Lions are back now out in front. Defense is going to obviously take over. The real question is whether or not the Lions are going to let Hooker finish the game or if they're going to put in Sudfeld for the remainder of the game. Because chances are Lions are probably going to have 2 more drives for this game. So the real question is if the Lions feel like they should give Hooker those next 2 drives or think that he's done enough for the day and decide to put in Sudfeld to finish it up. But we shall see what the Lions decide to do. To answer your question, Dean, I mean, I also do like baseball. I also will play basketball on occasion. I'm not really good at basketball. But baseball, I do know quite a bit, but I don't follow it really all that much. Well, we're going to see what happens here, folks, because I can see that there are people that are saying let Hooker finish, and there's others that are saying, put in Sudfeld. So we'll see what happens. I can't make a decision one way or the other. The way I look at it is that, you know what? I wouldn't say Hooker's had I wouldn't say he's had a very good game. I would say Hooker's had a decently solid game. If we look at Hooker's entire body of work, Hooker shows that he can play on a backup level. He can play on a backup level, but he cannot play at a starting level. And I do not think that he can play on a second string level. Again, I think Hooker is, if you put him in a third string situation, Hooker can play extremely well. But if you start going into that second string tier, that's when he starts falling apart. And that's because he's not ready to play that level yet. He's not ready to play that speed. He's not ready to play under that, kind of pressure. But again, he's getting better. But we can obviously see from the first 4 drives of this game that Hooker is nowhere close to being able to compete against top talent. And it's not even like the Steelers are, extremely talented on defense. They just have a decent defense. So the Steelers are now on their 4th string quarterback. Okay. Fourth string quarterback, 2nd and 6 for the Steelers. I formation, ball is snapped. QB's looking to throw. QB does throw it, and he is going to be tackled right away by the cornerback. It's going to be a very manageable, very short 3rd down. I will agree, Independent Aquaman. Baseball is very fun to play, but it is boring as hell to watch. I can't watch baseball. I can't. But I can play it all day long. I love playing baseball. All right, 3rd and 1 for the Steelers. Snaps going to be that is going to be very close. It looks like he's going to be short. It's going to be a 4th and inches. Looks like the Steelers are going to go for it on 4th and inches. Quarterback is in the gun, and there's a flag. And flags fly everywhere. Going to be a false start against the Steelers. Going to make it a 4th and 5, it's going to be a very long 4th and 5. So the Steelers are most likely going to punt now. All right, 4th and 6. Steelers are punting and going to be received by Alexander, who fair catches it at the 9-yard line. Oy vey. Couldn't tell you, Richard. I don't know how he got the number 1 jersey. Dude, these commercials are killing me. I don't think the NFC North is going to be as tough as you're thinking, Perry. I don't think so. Again, you're basing a lot of this off of what you're seeing right now in the preseason. Again, I'm telling you this right now, and when we get to see our actual first team offense go out there and do what it does, this is going to be a bad nightmare memory. As far as I'm concerned, when we play against the Packers, when we play against the Bears, when we play against the Vikings, we'll be fine. The only team that I'm really, even remotely concerned about is the Packers. And that's about it. I'm not worried about the Bears. I'm not worried about the Vikings. The reason I'm not worried about the Bears is because Caleb Williams has so far not gone against anything very difficult. Caleb Williams has literally gone against a couple of starters running vanilla concepts. He has not seen anything difficult yet. So to say, oh, yeah, that's the thing. No, it's not. And Nate Sudfeld is in at quarterback because Hooker is on the sideline. No, Nate Sudfeld is not in at quarterback. They have got Jake Fromm out there. So Jake Fromm is out at quarterback. Nate Sudfeld is not playing. So there you go. Not going to have to see either quarterback. Fromm is going to pitch it, hands to the running back, who gets absolutely nothing. Fromm snaps, looks to throw, gets it off, throws it to Kennedy, and Kennedy gets a first down. Fromm is under center. Going to move one man to the right. Snaps the ball. Play action. Fromm sets up, throws, and gets it out to Maurice Alexander. Nice throw from Fromm. From under center, snaps, quick drop back, and going to get absolutely hammered. He just got sandwiched. Definitely needed that. All right. 3rd and 6 coming up. Fromm is in the gun. And it's going to be a false start. And it's a false start on the wide receiver. It's going to be a false start on Calhoun. Third and 11. Man in motion. Fromm in the gun. Snaps. Drops back. Throws. And holy, gets it to the receiver that just did the false start. Calhoun goes up and gets a nice catch. He just cost us 5 yards, but then he just picked up 25. So far, freaking Fromm's been out there just, slinging. Hell, Fromm is out there just letting it loose. I saw the comment. I did see it, David. Fromm under center, play action, throws, gets it off, and it's another completion to Calhoun. Holy cow, the guy out there is just letting it loose. He's been 4 for 4 on this drive. Damn, Fromm is out here just, having a time. Fromm under center. Pitches it out. Funk gets a good kick. Gets a good kick out and good pickup. To answer your question, SW, Fromm is from Georgia. Oh, we just picked him up in the free agency pool. Nobody had him. Fromm snaps it, hands it off to Funk. Funk's going to find a little lane, picks up about 4 or 5 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 2 coming up. Fromm in the gun, 3rd and 2. Alexander in motion. Fromm snaps, looks to throw, tosses it up, and oh! Wow. That was almost a touchdown. That was almost a touchdown. He should have caught that one. He saw that guy coming in and knew he was about to get thwopped. And that's why Funk freaking came up a little short on the arms, because he was like, damn it, I'm about to get hit here. Well, that right there is going to end that drive. That means the Lions are going to send out the field goal unit. I mean, for that drive, Fromm did pretty damn good. I mean, 4 for 5, had a couple of really good, solid throws. Hell, that was good. I would have no problem keeping Fromm on as the practice squad quarterback. So it's going to be about a kick is good, but there's a flag on the play. It is offsides or a neutral zone infraction, one or the other. Looks like the Lions are going to not take the penalty and just take the points. So Jake Bates gets a field goal. Lions will take the points and go up a 7-point lead. So Bates with another long field goal makes it from 46. I see everybody in the comments section. I see what you're all saying. You're saying get rid of Sudfeld and keep Fromm, and I'm sorry, folks, but it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I guarantee you this. I know Dan Campbell. He's going to keep everything in the proper perspective. He's going to be like, hey, you know what? Fromm went out there. He did an excellent job. He made passes. He did all that. But they're still going to look at Sudfeld and be like, listen, he knows the offense. The only thing I can see for Fromm is he's going to get a practice squad job. There's no way the Lions are cutting Sudfeld. It's just not going to happen. Again, I just know it. The Lions are not cutting Sudfeld. There's a reason why they sat him today. So the Lions will keep all 3 of their quarterbacks. They'll keep Sudfeld. They'll keep Hooker. Sudfeld will be 2. Hooker will be 3. Now, whether or not they keep Fromm for practice squad, that's going to be that's going to be interesting. I would like to keep Fromm for the practice squad, but who knows? Oh, I know it's funny, Motown. I know it's funny. So far, Fromm's looked good. Bates has looked good. And the kickoff's going to go out the back of the end zone. Steelers offense will start at the 30-yard line. Dean, I understand what you're saying, but at this point, it's not even logic. It's just the reality of the situation. It's not logic, because to me, there is no logic in keeping Sudfeld. There isn't. I wouldn't keep Sudfeld for anything. But the reason why the Lions, Dan Campbell, and Brad Holmes want to keep Sudfeld, it's not about logic. It's just about the reality of the situation. Okay, let's call it for what it is. Fromm has looked good in practice in those couple of throws, but again, he's going up against backups of backups. He doesn't know the offense like everybody. He doesn't know the offense like Sudfeld. That's why I'm saying that. So, yeah, Sudfeld looks good. Sorry, Fromm looks good, but he's going up against third and fourth stringers. I have no doubt, though, that if Fromm were to get more time, more reps, more practice, then, yeah, absolutely, Fromm could probably compete for that job. But there's a reason why I know the Lions are holding on to Sudfeld. It's because he's been in the league for going on, 8, 9 years. He knows the offense. He's been in the team system now for going on, 3 years now. Steelers snap the ball, look to throw, get it out, caught, and going to be a gain of about 20-some yards. Again, I understand what everyone's saying. Fromm definitely looks more decisive. He definitely looks a lot better than Sudfeld. But you also just have to keep everything in perspective here. Whenever we've seen Sudfeld, he's been going up against first teamers or second stringers. The only time we've seen Fromm, he's going up against third and fourth stringers. Yeah, Dean, sometimes it does suck being a grown-up because it doesn't matter what I want. Doesn't matter what I think. The reality of the situation doesn't matter. Good tackle by number 58. All right. Got about 3.5 minutes left. Steelers are in the gun. 2 receivers to the left and the right. Quarterback throws it and makes a catch for about 9-10 yards. Going to be a 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 2 coming up. Unfortunately, Perry, they're not going to do that either. They're not going to give – it would have to be that Sudfeld would want to be a coach, and Sudfeld's too young to want to coach. That was good outside containment by Betts right there. Made sure the quarterback couldn't scramble his way for a first down. Yeah, that's a forward pass. Barely a forward pass, but still a forward pass. It's going to be a 4th and 3. Betts just came off the field. Glenn gave him a head pat. 4th and 3 coming up for the Steelers. Steelers are under center. Snap the ball. Play action. Looks to throw. Quarterback's going to get pressured, throws it up, and it is caught. But there is a flag on the play. Steelers are going to get flagged for an eligible player down the field. It's now going to be like 4th and 15 or something, which means that the Steelers will have to punt the ball away. I don't know if Betts makes the team either, David, but you know what? We're about to find out here pretty shortly. Fourth and 8. Going to be another flag. False start. 2 straight penalties against the Steelers. An eligible man down the field. And then false start. And it's on the same dude, too. Number 79. He's going to get a pink slip. Went from literally a 4th and 3 down to a 4th and 13. They gave up 10 yards of penalty. So we're going to get another Lions drive, which means we're going to get another drive with Fromm. Alexander is back to receive the kick and is going to let the ball bounce, and it's going to take a Lions bounce. Two minutes and 19 seconds to go. Lions are going to take the ball over on their own 14-yard line. 2:19 to go. Fromm is going to be under center. Two receivers to the left, one to the right. Tight end motions to the right. Fromm drops back to throw, gets it out quick, gets it to the receiver, and it's Alexander with a first down. Alexander making some moves. Good strike from Fromm. And now we got the 2-minute warning. Got to admit, this game has been pretty good. Pretty good. It's been a pretty good showing from the backups. Hooker had a solid game. Williams has had a solid game. Zylstra's had a solid game. Bates had a solid game despite that one field goal miss. I'd also say that Davis and, Alexander have looked pretty good too. So, and Fromm coming in late, he's looking good too. So, some pretty good conversation points. Preseason playoffs, dude, that's such a ridiculous notion, in my opinion, Bunny King. I mean, I learned, and most Lions fans should have learned, but I think almost all did learn from 2008 when we went 4-0 in the preseason, that preseason won't mean a damn thing for records. Score is 24-17 Lions. So, for me, I'm honestly going to say this, that I look at the game and I like what I saw out of the backups. I think that the Lions do have some really solid players in backup spots, but there's still room for improvement in areas on the roster. Honestly, for me, I think the offensive line needs to get better depth for sure. Wide receiver needs better depth. and cornerback needs better depth. From under center, I formation, going to hand the ball off, and Knight's going to bounce off of one dude, manages to pick up 1 yard. It is a minute 54, and the Steelers take a timeout. Lions are up by 7, 24-17. I actually kind of find it impressive that Fromm is able to go out and run even whatever plays that the freaking Lions are giving him. He's not even been on the season. He's not even been with the Lions all that long, and he's actually out there running the offense. Granted, it's probably basic ass plays. It's not probably anything super serious, but still kind of impressive that he's only been on the roster for like a week, maybe week and a half. From under center, I formation again. From snaps it. Going to be a boot action to the left. Gets the ball out and is nice move there. Good throw by From rolling to the left. Got the tight end. Got a minute 45 remaining. Got a shot of Hooker and Goff in the same frame. From under center, I formation again. From snaps it, going to hand it off, and Knight is going to pick up about probably about 4 yards. Probably going to be about a 2nd and 6. And the Steelers are going to take their last timeout. Second and 5 for the Lions offense. From under center again. From snaps it, hands it off again, and Knight is going to get the first down. And that's ball game. That's the ball game. Lions win 24-17. Steelers are out of timeouts, so the clock is going to run. Actually, no, it's not going to run. Never mind, because there's a Steelers player that's injured, which means it's an injury timeout. You can see, you guys see freaking Dan Campbell's face. He's like, you got to be kidding me. Like, we just picked up a first down, and they're all like, dude. Well, looks like his head got snapped back pretty hard. Chances are they're probably going to call out the cart. The injury was to the head, Dean. It looked like as the pile was moving forward with Zonovan Knight, the guy that's on the ground, he kind of lunged to try and tackle, and he missed, but his head hit some player's leg, and it snapped his neck back really awkwardly at a sharp angle. So it's a head and neck injury of some sort. We don't know if it's a concussion. We don't know what kind of an injury it is. But he's actually moving, so he has full control of his faculties, which that's the most important thing at this point. Yeah, it looks like he really screwed up his neck because he's rubbing the hell out of his neck. So probably did something where he hyperextended his neck or something, but he's up and walking now, but it's a good thing that he's not seriously hurt. Looks like he's biting his jersey to kind of grit through pain. All right, so after the injury timeout, there is a minute 26 left in the game. Now the clock's restarted, and it would appear that they're going to just run the clock down as far as they can, and then probably just going to take a knee and then end the game on that note. No sense in, adding more points or being unreasonable. Lions won the game pretty convincingly. Steelers started off the game very convincingly, but Lions came back and managed to take care of business. And that's the game. Lions win it 24-17, officially this time. So the Lions will finish the preseason 2-1. Will take the week off. Well, they won't take the week off, but for the final week of what would have been the regular preseason, they will now start preparing for the Los Angeles Rams to come to town. And with that, we have 2 weeks until it is time to play football for real. And with that, the next big piece of news that we're going to probably hear out of the Lions is who officially gets cut on Tuesday. So Tuesday is definitely going to be a big day for a lot of people, because that's going to be when a lot of people are going to be looking for new jobs. But all right, boys and girls, I'm going to cut this thing off because my throat is really starting to hurt here. So I don't know if I'm going to do the post stream or not. I might do it. I might not. It's really going to depend on how I feel. But if I don't see you guys rest of today, I definitely will be releasing content tomorrow, but we're going to see what happens. Dean DeGreer, actually, I can understand why they do it the way they do it, because of the fact that they want these guys to have as much time as possible to evaluate. Whereas in the old days, you'd be like constantly cutting players and you might not have a full chance to evaluate someone before you cut them. But with that being said, I'm going to end this stream. And like I said, I'll see if I do a post stream. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. But anyway, until that time, I will see you guys all later.